Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us on Nationwide. We're live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. A power surge on Monday morning at the last floor of the World Trade Center Central Business District Abuja caused panic amongst residents who had mistaken the incident for a fire outbreak. Information from an eyewitness indicates that the incident was caused by a break in circuit at the operating system in one of the rooms at the top floor of the center. The FCT Fire Service, however, responded to distress call to put the situation under control. We'll definitely hook up with our correspondent Abubakar Usman Akwanga when we can get through to him to give us a situation report there. Okay, let's look at other issues.
The smoke was alleged by an eyewitness to have been caused by a break in circuit at the operating system in one of the rooms at the top floor of the center.
Around 10:30, so I was down from the motor. I saw people running around. What is the problem? They said this place is starting fire. So how are people going to enter the place?
Fire is under control. There's no damage in any of the system. It happened up the rooftop, and our firefighting system fight the fire like you respect in a critical infrastructure building.
Although security operatives at the center refused our crew access into the premises, operatives of the FCT Fire Service at the Church Gate Outpost responded to a distress call put to them. General Manager Operations Ibukun Adeogun assured that there is no cause for alarm as the situation has been put under control.
Our system deployed, the sprinkler system, which is internal, deployed and put up the small fire. So there is no serious damage.
The fire service operative assured that the cause of the power surge will be made known to the public upon completion of investigation. Iliasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Okay, to get more update on the World Trade Center incident there, let's join our correspondent Abubakar Usman Akwanga live. Abubakar, if you can hear me, what can you tell us at this time? Abubakar, I don't know if you can hear me clearly. What's the situation there at the World Trade Center?
We are at the World Trade Center in Abuja Central. It's that there was a break in the head. The information got service swiftly mobilized.
Okay, we seem to be having challenge with his signal there. But if we can connect with him, we'll definitely do that. Let's look at other issues. The federal government is providing a support grant of 1 billion naira to states, in addition to all the stimulus packages contained in the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan. Speaking on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, urged state governments to take advantage of the structured loans and employment opportunities towards mitigating the economic impact of COVID-19 on Nigerians. Let's hear from Lydia Sampson.
COVID-19 took the world by storm, and the economic impact has been felt globally, with job losses and dwindling business fortunes. Like most countries, Nigeria promptly developed an economic sustainability plan comprising massive interventions in agriculture and infrastructural development with focus on local content production, all in a bid to evade recession.
It was designed to be an intervention plan for 12 months, and we costed it at 2.3 trillion naira. With funding sources from special accounts that we had, we pulled 500 billion from there, and the president approved we can do that. Also, the National Assembly agreed that we could do that. 1.1 trillion of this plan is funding interventions, structured interventions from the central banks that will be channeled through DFIs, development finance institutions, microfinance banks, as well as commercial banks. So there are different categories.
Zainab Ahmed said, though the federal government is coordinating the plan, states are expected to make incidence action plan.
Economic sustainability plan is designed primarily to help stabilize the economy and provide cushion from the effect of the dual challenges that we have of COVID-19, as well as a crash in the crude oil price.
Other guests on the program applauded the plan, but called for robust engagement of the private sector and consistent funding.
And the plan is very well structured. And it means that, there is the good prospect of delivering on the goals.
Is that undertaking this plan, using all the relevant agencies and ministries and MDAs of government, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, I think maybe the next plan that will succeed ERGP should also take this kind of approach. Perhaps maybe we may have a better an all-inclusive, a more holistic approach.
They also advocated continuous support for the informal sector to stay afloat in spite of COVID-19. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Okay, we're made to understand that our correspondent signal is clear now. So let's rejoin him at the World Trade Center. Abubakar, you were telling us the situation at the World Trade Center right earlier. Abubakar, I don't know if you can hear me. I said you were giving us a situation report at the World Trade Center there in Central Business District. So go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, yeah, right now we are at Abuja Central District area, and behind me is the World Trade Center. Earlier on, it was reported that there was a fire outbreak, and this led to a swift reaction from the Federal Fire Service as they mobilized their officers and men to put the fire out. But then, in our earlier brief media session with the public relations officer of the Federal Service, she told us that the activation of the wet riser in the building headed their operation. And in fact, she emphasized that those who have story building in places, not just in the city center of Nigeria, should ensure that they install wet riser. This will go a long way to assist them in arresting incidences of fire outbreak like the one they handled today.
Okay, thank you very much, Abubakar, there for that update you just gave us. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk agric. More than 130 farmers in Jigawa State have been equipped by the federal government to benefit from the newly introduced smart agricultural practice that has taken the advantage of emerging digital technology to maximize agric-based profits. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Pantami, rounded off the training program being felicitated by NITDA through a virtual ceremony held in Duse. Mohammed Musa Askira will tell us more.
In the quest for Nigeria to diversify and explore other areas away from oil-based economy, especially agriculture, many programs have been designed to improve the existing reality of the sector for enhanced output. One of such programs is the National Adapted Village for Smart Agriculture, a special program created to digitalize agricultural practices in Nigeria by the federal government. Jigawa State, given its potentials in agriculture and the challenges farmers face to fully realize those potentials in the sector, such as flooding, paced and irregular rainfalls, has been chosen as a pilot state for the program.
What we only need to do is to ensure that we deploy the relevant technologies, build the capacity of our farmers.
For a start, 130 farmers have been trained on the modern farming practice using digital technology to farm with precision to maximize the quality and quantity of the farm produce. The farmers were presented with their bag of improved rice seeds, 1 unit of water pumping machine and 1 unit of smartphone, as well as a dummy check of 100,000 naira each. Governor Muhammad Badr Abubakar appealed to the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy and the Director General of the Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, to scale up the program to involve more beneficiaries for the benefits of the state. The farmers were advised to use the skills they have acquired to better their future and that of the state. From Dute, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And still on agric, farmers' groups have expressed confidence with ongoing military operations aimed at curbing activities of bandits in the northwest and north-central parts of the country. Now, this is common as the House Committee on Agriculture describes activities of bandits as capable of destabilizing the nation's agricultural development. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that Chairman, House Committee on Agriculture, stated this at the distribution of inputs to farmers in Abuja.
Farmers in the northwest and the north-central Nigeria are ranked the major producers of grains in the country. For instance, farmers in the regions have successfully pushed the country's maize production from 8 million tons in 2015 to more than 18 million tons in 2019. The insecurity in the northwest and central, occasioned by banditry, farmers say is constituting a threat to the farming activities.
This issue of insecurity affected many farmers because there are some areas, most of the farmers, they didn't even go to the farm.
We are coming with a stiffer law that will ensure that anybody found guilty in terms of this banditry and criminality will be given a life sentence or a death sentence, because that is the only way we can move this country forward.
The ongoing military operations have rekindled the hope of farmers as they commence activities for the 2020 farming season. This therefore necessitated the distribution of farming inputs to maize farmers in the FCT.
So there is need for us to create synergy for the two sides to meet, where we have the producer and the off-taker. I know the CBN is trying to do that, but in a larger perspective, the ministry is playing that role.
The inputs were procured through the Anchor Brewers program with a view to assisting smallholder farmers boost agricultural production. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
A look at education now. The Minister of Education, Adamu, has inaugurated governing councils of 13 federal universities with a caution that due process abiding by government rules and transparency in selecting principal officers are adhered to at all times. Adamu noted that avoiding selfish and unpatriotic behaviors and forming a harmonious working relationship with the management will enhance efficiency and address issues like admission racketeering, examination malpractices, immoral attitudes among both students and lecturers.
It is also our expectation that you will ensure good management, growth, and development of these institutions without recourse to interference or what we here call micromanagement in their day-to-day running. Governing councils should all time be abreast of current laws, government policies, government white papers, circulars, gazettes, and other relevant documents that will help in taking decisions.
The minister also explained efforts by government for safe school reopening, adding that meetings of stakeholders in education, state commissioners of education, vice-chancellors, provosts and rectors was held last week to facilitate that. And a look at other issues. All Progressives Congress has assured Nigerians that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari will not condone any form of corrupt practices, even as the administration is committed to fighting corruption as promised. The APC, in a statement by its Deputy National Publicity Secretary Yakini Nabena, said the opposition PDP does not have what it takes to lament about its alleged corrupt practices in the present administration of APC. In APC's government, nobody is above the law. For the fact that the suspended acting chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, is being investigated should send a signal to all those who think and have blackmailed the government's anti-corruption battle, the statement added. The APC has acknowledged a statement by the presidency that there is no hiding place for any corrupt government official in this administration, being led by an incorruptible personality of President Muhammadu Buhari, and urged Nigerians to ignore what it's described as fake lamentations by the PDP. And to update on COVID-19, Lagos and Ebonyi lead latest COVID-19 case standing as Nigeria records 571 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 with 16 deaths. The new cases put the country's total figure at 32,558 as announced by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control on Sunday, 12th July 2020. In the breakdown, Lagos recorded 152 cases, while Ebonyi 108 new cases. Edo State has 53, Ondo 46, the FCT 38, Oyo 20, while Kwara and Plateau has 19 and 17 respectively. Osun, Bayelsa, Ekiti and Katsina states recorded 14 cases each, while Akwa Ibom, Kaduna and Rivers had 11 new cases each. Other cases are 10 in Niger State, 7 in Ogun, 6 in Kano, 4 in Cross River and Bauchi, 2 cases. Lagos State still tops the COVID-19 chart with 12,427, followed by the FCT with 2,576 cases. Edo has climbed to the third position with 1,731 cases. Out of the 32,558 confirmed cases, 13,447 patients have recovered and discharged, while the death toll is now 740. Well, despite the rising cases in another development, the National Gallery of Arts has rolled out a post-COVID programs aimed at promoting the Nigeria's art industry. At a media briefing in Abuja, Acting Director General, National Gallery of Arts Simon Ode Ekbarohi stated that the plan is to reutilize the fine art sector.
Another program is titled The Three Irokos. This refers to the three biggest names in modern Nigerian art scene. We have Ainona Bolu Benenwongo and a female artist, Clara Ubodaga Ungu. This, in fact, will be the first time three of them will be brought together in a single publication for people to read and appreciate what they did.
The post-COVID plans include building a befitting National Art Gallery, which has been a major setback to the growth of the industry.
Nigeria is one of the few countries in Africa and the world at large that does not have a befitting edifice as its National Gallery of Art.
Other programs are unveiling the Oshogbo artists, meeting with the Society of Nigerian Artists and the Lagos Art Exhibition. Well, as the coronavirus pandemic continues to rage in Nigeria, with Benue State recording increasing cases on a daily basis, medical experts have called for the establishment of a molecular laboratory in the state to stop the delay in getting result of suspected cases. Blessing Omeche Ebute has details.
The outbreak of coronavirus in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, have over the last few months increased the number of molecular laboratories across the country. These stakeholders say have contributed to the increased number of cases recorded daily. Benue State, after recording its index case of COVID-19 in March, have gradually continued to witness an increased figure in the last few weeks. This is not unconnected with the establishment of sample collection centers in the state teaching hospital to handle people after contact tracing and persons with suspected symptoms. A member of the State COVID-19 Action Committee, Dr. Joseph Ngbeya, says, though the establishment of Sentinel Sample Collection Center is yielding results, a molecular laboratory in the state will reduce the hurdles encountered sending samples to Abuja.
The increase in the number of cases is arising from the fact that there's an increase in testing capacity in Benue. If you remember when the pandemic started, they were testing on those who were suspicious or those who can enter Benue overnight and start coughing or start manifesting fever or anything. Very few number of persons were tested, but now from the past few weeks, we've been testing huge number of people.
He encouraged residents of the state to stick to the safety protocols of COVID-19 and avail themselves for voluntary testing if they have contact with confirmed cases or have symptoms of the virus. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, in conjunction with the public and private sector and in fulfillment of part of its mandate as a response to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and beyond, wishes to invite all Nigerian youth to participate in the 60-day app challenge aimed at engaging young Nigerians in the art of designing a mobile application to improve a range of processes and increase the ease of accessibility to services available to the citizenry. App submissions must solve a problem within the shortlisted industries: edutech, agritech, fintech, health, sports, and telecommunications. Prizes include grand prize of 1 million naira each for 10 winning solutions. Registration ends 18th of July 2020 and submission deadline is 23rd of July 2020. For entries and inquiries, visit lawyer.ng or youthandsports.gov.ng. Shortlisted entries will be contacted by the evaluation committee. Do take your time to read through all the modalities as terms and conditions will apply. Announcer, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development.
The chances of victims surviving COVID-19. A corruption-free society creates opportunities for citizens to thrive and prosper. Build your immunity. Stop corruption now. Report all acts of corruption to ICPC on this toll-free number 0800 22 55 4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
Shabi, you still come back to this house?
Yeah, so you cannot even support your husband, eh?
Support who? I thought you said men are the head of the family.
How to get here? Allah, how to get here? Feminism is all about equal right and opportunity for women. Settle your matter in your home.
You can't keep comparing Agatha and Uchechi. Agatha is Agatha. Uchechi is Uchechi.
Thanks for staying tuned. Let's now join Adeola in Lagos. She has more reports for us on Nationwide. Adeola.
Thank you, Ruth. Doctors in Lagos, under the aegis of Medical Guild, have commenced a 3-day warning strike to press home their demands for improved welfare and safety. The strike, which will stretch to 16th July, would exempt members working in the state's COVID-19 isolation centers. The doctors are requesting for adjustment in wage disparity between the federal and Lagos state doctors, urging the State Ministry of Health to approve the COVID-19 Hazard and Inducement Allowances Memorandum of Understanding approved by the federal government. And joining me live is Dr. Oluwajimi Shodipo. He is the chairman of the Medical Guild, Lagos State. Hello, doctor. Thank you for...
I apologize for that. It's time for the daily briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. So let's join them.
For Monday, 13th July 2020. Review of the National Response Strategy. The objectives of that review were: 1, to review the Presidential Task Force achievements, challenges, and opportunities for improvement of the COVID-19 response efforts from its inception to June 30, 2020. And 2, engage key stakeholders in developing the way forward on the overall COVID-19 response efforts. The midterm review had in attendance legislators, including the chairman of the relevant committees on health in the Senate and the House of Representatives, the Office of the Vice President, ministers, diplomatic community, as well as development partners. At the end of the 2-day meeting, key resolutions covered the following areas and actions we intend to take. 1, case management deficit. The course of action here is focused on having enough oxygen nationwide as the number of hospitalized persons increases. At the outset of this pandemic, we thought that ventilators were the things that were needed. But as we progress in case management, we realized that we need more of oxygen condensers to be provided in hospital environment. 2, testing deficit. The course of action is to establish 1 sample collection center per local government area. 3, strategy for high burden areas. The course of action here is focused on high burden local governments with precision interventions, including risk communication. 4, risk communication itself would increase community engagement, including engagement with religious and traditional rulers. 5, state ownership and collaboration. Here we would increase state ownership by increasing state engagement and collaboration, and also strengthen ownership at the state and local government levels now that we are at the stage of community transmission. 6, compliance on IPC measures. The course of action here is that we will institutionalize IPC policies in healthcare facilities and take steps to increase compliance of non-pharmaceutical measures, especially the use of masks in public places, hand washing and the use of hand sanitizers, and the observance of physical or social distancing. 7, private sector. We will continue to increase engagement with the private sector. 8, industrial development as a gain from the pandemic. In spite of the losses as a result of the pandemic, we believe that we need to support local production of PPEs and other critical supplies in the country. 9, movement post-easing of lockdowns. Here, the course of action is communicating that anyone above 60 years or persons with morbidities such as hypertension, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, cancers, etc., should stay at home and avoid social events as they are at highest risk of infection and mortality. 10, government meetings and board meetings, as much as possible, should be conducted virtually until further notice, and all unnecessary travels for meetings by government officials should be suspended. 11, post-PTF national response. The course of action here is to develop an exit strategy beyond the life of the PTF, that is beyond September 2020. Underlying the above as a cross-cutting initiative is an enhanced risk communication strategy designed not only to educate the citizenry on the virulence of the virus and the individual and collective roles that, more importantly, to tackle the deliberate misinformation being bandied around, especially in the social media. An enhanced risk communication strategy becomes inevitable when we realize that within the last 24 hours, the world witnessed the largest single-day cases of 230,370, while in Nigeria, the last week recorded the highest weekly fatality of 70 deaths. The rising fatalities in Nigeria is not unconnected with denial and delay in seeking help. You can see, in spite of the trillions of dollars that is invested